Hi all, and welcome to my little video on improvements to Affinity Photo that would help game designers. This video is meant for the Affinity developers, but if you're interested, feel free to watch. Firstly, I'd like to mention how pleased I am that I bought Affinity Photo. This is in no way a rant video. It's a really good graphics software with some super useful features. Things like the brush preview, so I know exactly where my pixels are going. That's super useful. Another really great useful feature is picking alpha. Now, you may not know this, but if I select this cloud and move it around, you can see that the inside of this cloud is slightly transparent. So if I can set the color picker tool to the current layer only, and if I pick this color in the middle of the cloud and click on the little eyedropper here, you can see it's actually chosen the transparency level of that pixel, which is very, very useful. For example, if I wanted to finish filling in this cloud, I can paint here with the exact same color and transparency of the surrounding cloud. Like that. Great. Affinity Photo is one of the only software I know that does this. Really useful for this kind of art. Another great thing is the live layers. They're super useful, updating smoothly in real time. That's just lovely. Not to mention the fact that there's no subscription fees and no installed bloatware, which other software installs a great deal of. They also have really good support. I've already seen one of my suggestions make it into the app. That's just great. But with that said, there are a couple of little bug fixes that would make doing game art a lot easier. Firstly, there's a little graphics corruption when drawing fine lines. I'm using a tablet here, and if I draw with pressure sensitivity on some fine lines with the same kind of pressure, you'll see that little black corruptions happen in the line. This, I believe, is something to do with the nozzle generation, but it's a great one to get fixed. Another little bug is when using a pixel brush, changing the size of the brush using the square brackets has some very strange behavior. For example, it's set to width 1. If I draw a pixel, that looks good. If I up the size with one key press, it goes to 1.1 pixels, but this brush is definitely not 1.1 pixels. You'll see if I keep increasing it to 2 pixels, then, well, that's definitely bigger than 2 pixels. If we take this down to 1, yeah, that would be 2 pixels. So there's something slightly wrong going there. I have a suspicion it might be related to the same bug with the fine lines. Next, when you select a small part of your image and you export, and you choose to just export that selection, we can see that it's actually still exported the whole image, not just the selection. A really cool feature is you can save out images and create brushes out of them. I've saved out this tree image and created a brush. The only slight problem is if you can't seem to set it to the size that it is originally. If I set it to the width, which is 11, it comes out kind of blurry, and if I set it to the height, it comes out far too big and still slightly wrong. It'd be great if we could just have it the same size as the actual image. That's the bugs out of the way. I'm just going to list a few features now that I think would really help too. First, it'd be really great to have a textures type for the presets and list kind of standard textures like 512 by 512 or 1024 by 1024. Another nice feature would be to create a image brush just from the selection. Rather than having to save the image out and then do it that way, it'd be great if I could just select that and then choose create image brush from selection and have it default to the correct size too. That'd be awesome. Related to image brushes again, it'd be great if we could have a shortcut to rotate these brushes. I made one up very quickly here for a little screw, which looks great, but then I wanted one 90 degrees rotated. So you have to edit the screw and then try and figure out the rotation percentage for 90 degrees. It's doable, but if we could just press a button on the keyboard, like, well, I don't know, Alt and square bracket, that'd be great. Another useful one for when you're creating textures is a filter to match the colors. It can be done now manually, but it'd be great if we could have a color matching filter that would match one image or layer to another. Another useful feature when trying to select circular objects would be to have it so that the circle can be created from the center point. At the moment, it's created using that as a corner. Without that, it's actually quite difficult to select a circle accurately. A really great feature for making textures would be a tile view mode for making seamless textures. Now, although you can make seamless textures without a tile view, like the great Affinity seamless tutorial, it's really difficult to notice bad repeating patterns. Here, if we look at this tiled, you can see there's quite a bad repeating pattern. If this was an actual tiled view mode, we could see that easily in the program and then even fix it with things like frequency separation and the clone tool. And lastly, I have two dream feature requests. One would be a color picker specifically for drawing normal maps, where you could perhaps change the number of sides to be able to pick specific normal valid colors. And a super crazy dream request would be some form of simple animation, but I understand completely why you wouldn't do that. Okay, thanks very much for your time. I hope you find this useful and we can make Affinity even better. Bye!